Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're live now. Welcome back to a new stream. Today it is stream number 70 on the 16th of November. We're now officially in the second half of the fourth quarter. Historically seen the strongest quarter in crypto, but it doesn't seem to be like that way in 2025. Welcome, guys. Make sure you're strapped in. I'm sorry for being absent in the last, I think, 3 days. We had Bitcoin Amsterdam, so I want to talk about what's been happening there, because I think it's really important to talk about what's happening outside of our own bubble as well. Of course, we're going to talk about markets. Of course, guys, we're going to strap in. Of course, you guys are going to hit the like button. Thank you very much. And I wanna talk about the good, and I want to talk about the bad. And I think it's good about, to have a balanced approach. So let's talk about it, guys. Welcome back. Let's talk about the first thing first here. So this is the death cross here. The death cross for Bitcoin that we've been talking about. Many people have been talking about, of course, on Twitter, on X, on YouTube, on Rumble. I don't know exactly where. Bitcoin, guys, went below $100,000. And it seems it will close also below the 50-week. It will close below the 50-week. That's going to be happening, guys. However, and I talked about this in the Will the Bull Market Continue video, one swallow doesn't make a summer, right? One swallow doesn't make a summer. So what we need to see is 2 consecutive weeks below the 50-week. If we have double weekly closes below the 50-week, traditionally seen a bull market is over. It is over. That's the truth. Traditionally seen. This cycle, though, is everything but traditional. I wanna say, though, that in that case, I do feel like it's probably going to be different. It has been zero euphoria, but it's, I think, how it is. However, so far, Bitcoin is down about, what is it? Minus 25%. Bitcoin is down minus 25%. What does this tell you? That is, it's a dip for ends, pretty much still. Like, we have had much worse this cycle. We go back to the previous dips, minus 31%. And also before that, about minus 32% as well. So we have seen worse for Bitcoin. So what we are experiencing now is, I think, more or less, it's, I think, more disappointment. More disappointment than anything else. Like, people have been expecting the 4-year cycle to be playing out. Like, Christmas time, that would be the time to cash out or cash in, whatever. It's different. It's very much different, guys. Welcome. I don't know how it will play out. I am actually very curious to see how this will actually end up. Where will we see the next week occurring? I did tell you guys to strap in. Very important times here. And I wanna also give you a positive note here. I wanna give you a positive note. And that's the following. So we do have here Death Cross. We talked about this, right? Death Cross. I think we mentioned this on Wednesday. Death Crosses happen today. And sometimes, but actually quite often, more often than not, a Death Cross is a bottoming indicator. It's true. So basically, that would say that today would have been the bottom. If we take a look at the previous Death Cross, we talked about that one. That was pretty much the bottom as well. You can see here, Death Cross as well. We went a bit lower, just a little bit. But it was basically the bottom. Same thing also here. I need to bring it up on the chart now. This here was the Death Cross. And we have already seen the bottom here, right? This was the bottom for Bitcoin at about 50K. Death Cross, bottom has occurred. Or bottom will occur within the next few days. That's what typically happens. With, of course, some exceptions, really important ones. There are some exceptions. Also, same thing here. We had a Death Cross, really painful, but the bottom was already in. Many Death Crosses, guys, are a bottoming indicator. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's why I say, guys, that's why I say one swallow doesn't make a summer. If next week we're going to pump up again, Bitcoin is once again above 103, or basically 103. Guys, 103 is the 50-week simple moving average. If next week we completely reverse, it's all okay. Nothing happened. Like, this was a cool dump. This was a buying opportunity. But there's also an opportunity now that we have a painful retest, for example. Like, there are, I think, two scenarios. Like, there is one that we might even go back to about 100,000, but get rejected. Happened a lot. We went to the 50-week. Went below the 50-week, had a retest. So, for example, here, went below the 50-week, had a retest, or we started dumping even more. Like, that's an opportunity, or that's a possibility, right? That's also why I say we have to wait until we have got about two weekly closes. 2 weekly closes. Welcome, guys. Don't forget to strap in. Those are very important times, guys. These are very important times. Buying opportunities, but also dangerous. Like, this is getting into the risk territory, but also the opportunity territory. Isn't that cool? It's actually quite cool. Welcome, guys. So I wanna quickly talk about some fundamental stuff. I've been to Bitcoin Amsterdam. So Bitcoin Amsterdam is a Bitcoin party, basically. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin, Lightning payments, Bitcoin wallets, Bitcoin treasuries, Bitcoin. Still, there are quite a lot of people interested in crypto.com or Cronos, actually. I even tried to explain a Dutch politician, how Cronos works. Yeah, true story. So maybe we get a new Cronos law in the Netherlands. I don't know. But what I hear there in the Bitcoin bubble, basically, is that no one is scared about this. Like, these are, of course, it's a bubble. Again, I think it's good to sometimes talk about a topic in a different bubble. So we always are talking within the Crow fam. But hearing like a different take on how the market is, how we are evolving as an industry, it's really interesting. And it did actually convince me that, yes, this industry is fundamentally growing. It is. There are also, of course, a lot of these charts. I don't know if I can bring it up, but for example, we have the internet adoption curve. Basically, they mentioned, right, and I think I saw this before, but basically Bitcoin is following along with the internet adoption in about the same speed as where we were in 2000 now. Did you use internet in 2000? Welcome, guys. Strap in. Welcome, Robert. I see Stacy. I see Weezap. I see Bjorn. I'm curious, though, Weezap. Welcome. Good to see you, guys. Good to see you. So, I unfortunately became a bear. Please tell me exactly when, Weezap, if you want to, right? If you want to. When and for what reason? When and for what reason? I want to know. And for anyone, feel free to share. I think it's really interesting to see all these different takes. I think it's really interesting to see all the different takes about, where we are in the market, what's happening. Yeah. So I want to also share a few more of my own takes. Johnny's saying, ooh, not looking any bueno now. The thing is, guys, let's be honest. So I disappeared for a few days. That's why the market is dumping. Let's be honest. That's how it works. Without Coin Baron, guys, no pumps. That's how it works, unfortunately. I'm so old. I started using the internet in the 80s. Well, you're the exception to the rule, Pete. Like, you're an early adopter. You're both an early adopter, Pete, to Bitcoin, as well as the internet. Like, I know a lot of people, that lived in the 80s, but no internet. Like, no. That was for the nerds. Even like the Ataris back then. Did you have like an Atari or anything like that? Or a Super Nintendo? Oh man. I love the retro stuff there as well. Mr. Secret Agent of Chris. Unfortunately, I wish. Chris doesn't even bother about me. Welcome, how are you? So, Bitcoin, guys, so far it is going down. It's below $100,000. Of course, that's a very interesting psychological border. I want to talk though about the Bitcoin chart as well regarding dominance, and I want to quickly strap in now, guys, for Kai, because Kai, he went to Bitcoin Amsterdam. Kai actually got some suspenders for me. So good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying your trip as well to the Netherlands. Let's talk about Bitcoin dominance now, because Bitcoin dominance, guys, is in a very interesting pattern now. We've been talking about this for many weeks now at this point, and I also start to see some people like the big accounts on X catching up to this. The great coin baron dip. I would say this might be the great coin baron depression phase even. I haven't seen so many people depressed in a long time. Anyway, so we've been talking about this, guys, in many videos. So I've been quite adamant about Bitcoin dominance being here in this rising wedge formation, and typically a rising wedge falls to the downside. So that means that Bitcoin dominance, DJ, thank you so much. $5 coming from DJ. Let's see till the end of Q4. It seems to me that DJ ain't scared at all. Interesting take. Let's see. We have also seen Chris. I don't know. I think somebody might have mentioned it, right? Some people said to me, like, Chris mentioned Q1. Check Q1 of 2026. I want to talk about it. So I have been talking on X about a few point of light, a few point of why this cycle might not be over yet. And I think this is a very important one here. This is Bitcoin dominance. I've been telling you guys, this rising wedge typically breaks to the downside. And again, I have to say one swallow. We're talking a lot about swallows today, but it's no summer yet, no altcoin summer yet. But Bitcoin dominance breaking down. That means that I honestly start to believe there's some kind of seller exhaustion happening now at altcoins, like, for example, Ethereum. Yes, Ethereum is down, but Bitcoin is losing more than altcoins. We got Zcash pumping like crazy. Zcash pumping like crazy. We got Ethereum, well, dumping, but less than Bitcoin, which is crazy. So Bitcoin dominance had the first red week in a while. And I mentioned this also, I think, on the last video, but this candle here with the really small body, we call that also a shooting star formation. And a shooting star formation is typically also a reversal indicator. So it makes sense that we have a bit of a dump now. I have to say though, there's this dump. It might not be like a full-on dump like I've shown you here on the chart, of course. Like, this arrow is more like an indication for where we probably will end up when the altcoin cycle ends. At least that's my belief. Well, like this typical small rising wedge, it's only a small wedge there also for like I think the target should be around here at about 57. The question, of course, is what happens after hitting about 57? If we go to 57, the question is, will we see Bitcoin dominance hold here, or will it continue going down? That's what we don't know. But so far, my thesis is that still altcoins have some momentum, crazily enough. Like, Bitcoin is going down, but altcoins have some momentum. And we all knew, right, that this cycle is going to be different. But just I'm thinking out loud here. What if we see an altcoin season without it pumping Bitcoin anymore? We kind of had it also with Solana season back in 2024. We had it also with Ethereum in DeFi Summer 2019. What if we see altcoin euphoria during a boring Bitcoin season? Has never happened before. But this cycle is different. It is different. Robot man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. 25 Ron. I don't even know. I think it's a Romanian. Currency. Thank you so much, dude. Trap in, sir. Fitting Crypto, welcome, sir. I saw you, I think, in the live stream with, lost the name. Oh, this is bad. Give me 1 sec, guys. Give me 1 sec. Wait. Yeah. Sorry. So, the coin baron just broke something and I heard some, noise in the background. I had to check in there. It's all good. It's all good. Nothing broke, guys. Family first. Family first. We should be good now, guys. Welcome back. Audio's back. Hey, Joe is here. Don't matter. Keep buying more. Plan an exit. I like to hear that, sir. I like to hear that. Pepper Smurf, welcome. Guys, welcome again. So we've been talking about this. I think Bitcoin dominance going down is a really important indicator that we might be indeed heading into one final wave. So this is still my thesis. I know some might think it is crazy. Some might think it is crazy, but I do believe we will see that final wave occur. I do still believe that. And I've told you guys. In that video, I said I might have made a mistake, right? That we would even get back here to the bottom of the rainbow chart. This was a distinct possibility, and it happened. Or well, we're getting very close now. I think on some exchanges, CRO shortly went to about 10.3 cents. So we have basically visited now the bottom range of the rainbow chart. So it is following kind of what I've expected after that I made a mistake video. Like this fractal, it's following perfectly right. And it's been following it correctly since May of 2025. But I think even a bit longer already. Guys, we're still, in my opinion, heading into that fourth wave. But it might take some time to actually get to the absolute bottom. So what I find quite reasonable as well is that in the upcoming weeks, we're heading back up again. I think that's actually quite likely. I think we might see next week that we go back up towards 16 cents. That might happen. And then after going to 16 cents, we might still go down to 10 cents. That would be so scary, right? Everybody would like be completely scared. But it still fits the typical cycle. Hey, Flying Bee, thank you so much. 212. Is there any chance of a new altcoin run in 2026? Of course, there always is a no chance there. There's always a chance that it won't happen. I don't think so, though, guys. I know human emotion quite well, and I think when people smell opportunity, I do believe it will come. Severo, Lock-in, Baron, thank you so much. Welcome, guys. We also got another donation here. Guys, you guys are so kind to me. If I'm missing your questions, I'm so sorry. But we're getting through a very busy week so far with crypto, doing all kind of crazy stuff. I'm also... So, quick statement before we go to the question. Quick statement, guys. I haven't sold. Nothing. Oh, I swear to my mother. No, but of course, you always do your thing. I'm just keeping to my own strategy. And that means also that I'm not selling until I reach my targets. Of course, I'm trading. I'm trading a lot. I'm selling and buying like every day, but that's different. But I'm not like the hodl bag. It's still there. Okay, let's go back to the question though. So, Coinberry, you the man, bro. God bless you. I'm buying heavy CRO. Is that dump? Like we talked about in the beginning, I think actually it ain't like dumb at all. Like what we have learned throughout the years is that we don't exactly know where CRO will bottom, right? But if it is going to play out like the wave, we are getting very close now to the bottom. If the Bitcoin death cross will play out like I think it will play out, we're also very close to the bottom. Like there are many bottoming indicators. I want to show you one more. Cheap life. We also do have a few indicators, I think, regarding RSI. Where is it? I left it somewhere. Check this one here. We're getting very close now to the oversold level for CRO. The only thing that I don't like to see is that the MACD is like, I don't know if it's like a true bottom for the MACD, but we're getting now to the quite big oversold levels also on the MACD. The MACD isn't showing any sign yet of a reversal, but it might be coming. We're getting into the deep levels now. So if you combine, I would say, the MACD with also the RSI, I think there is a distinct opportunity or possibility that we might be getting ready for a reversal. I don't know though, of course. I don't know. But I'm taking a look at the signs that we have on the different chart. I think as long as you keep combining multiple things. Let's see. We also got Peter saying, well, maybe a bit of wishful thinking, but perhaps this is going to be an early and speedy bear market ahead of a super cycle. That might also be the case. So I want to bring up, guys, quickly. I want to bring up the fear and greed, not index. I want to bring up the hype cycle chart. You might have heard about it. The hype cycle chart. It starts with despair, or not with despair. I think it starts with the despair. Hype cycle. Where is it? No, it's the Wall Street cheat sheet. That's the one. I think you guys know this one as well. Let me bring it up on the screen now. So this is the Wall Street cheat sheet. Some people have been saying, well, currently we might be in the complacency phase, meaning that we have had the high so far. But in my opinion, that's wrong. Just my opinion, right? Because we haven't seen any euphoria. We haven't seen any true euphoria this cycle. In 2021, we did see at least a bit of euphoria. We saw Trill, we saw Belief. I think we've seen Belief so far. But did we even get to Trill? I don't think so. So I think it's weird that we go from Belief into complacency. But again, my personal opinion here. Are we into the hope? Guys, Bitcoin is still very close to $100,000. CRO is still about 2x from the lows. Everyone is like, it's all over. It's so done. We're broke. I don't think so. Rato thinks we are in anxiety. That's how it feels, isn't it? That's definitely how it feels. Why am I getting margin calls? This dip is taking longer than expected. Interesting. Maybe for CRO, like I would even make the argument that for CRO, we are now at the panic stage. That's what I'm feeling personally. Like people are saying, shit, everyone is selling. And it also fits quite well with the bill that we have so far because, let's be honest, CRO is forming a complete, let me show it to you. It is showing the typical Christmas tree. Typical Christmas tree setup so far. We have the base. And we also got all the bells and whistles in the top here. So we are already quite low. Like if I have to make an argument, where are we now? I think we are now completing the fourth wave. And we're feeling the panic. I don't know if we'll see also if we see capitulation. Maybe. Joe Boy is saying, well, I think we're in the hoop stage. A recovery is possible. Like, if if Pete is right, a recovery is possible, right? A recovery is possible. We might get that in like a crazy super cycle. Let's see though. Does this mean Santa is coming? I believe so. I believe so soon. Cyborg, welcome. When we see a 15 or 20% earn, then we know it's over. I think we also had quite a few of those in the bear market. Cyborg, welcome. I don't know. I do know that when they have like a big campaign, they also want to do like a 20% earn. So sometimes you're definitely right. Like we had one, I believe. I think we had one over here. I believe so. So for Pete here, the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't had a proper blow off top yet for Bitcoin. This is leading me to think that we still haven't seen the highest yet. I agree there. I have a strong agreement there that we haven't seen any typical peak indicators. And I want to, for anyone that's asking what's like a typical peak indicator, we've been talking about the relative strength index. And for Bitcoin, I think there's a really strong one on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, we have a very strong RSI indicator. And throughout the years, every time we have seen a peak, you can see, right, it became big green. Big green here. Peak. Well, there was also a second peak, but I will remove that one for this one. But where are we now? It's completely different so far. Like 0 actual peaks. I still think we need to go higher. Some people say time is running out, but yeah. Why is time running out? Like fundamentally, we're not getting more liquidity. We're getting also still, I would say the stock market. Yes, people are fearful of AI bubbles. But the counter argument is that the S&P is still soaring. We don't know what AI will bring us. What will AI bring to humanity? But it might be a crazy surprise, of course. Daniel, welcome. Good to see you, sir. WSD Daddy is saying, Chris knows, we just follow. I think like what Chris is doing is actually quite smart. So I wanna quickly talk with you guys about Bitcoin Amsterdam, because the main topic of Bitcoin Amsterdam was treasuries. Treasury. And I'm talking about Bitcoin treasuries, but also altcoin treasuries. And you might make the argument that there are two types of treasuries. We got the companies, like for example Tesla. Tesla has a big bag of Bitcoin, but they also provide value to society. They make cars, but next to cars, or next to like the cash on the balance sheet, they also want to have Bitcoin on the balance sheet as well. Like a bit of diversification for that cash tag, but their main business is selling cars. It is not holding Bitcoin. That's what brings me to the second type of treasury, and those are the treasury companies, like for example, MicroStrategy, or Strategy these days. But also the MCGA company does fit the bill there. And the fun thing about the MCGA company is that I think it has one of the strongest fundamentals to actually be successful, because it actually has value. You can earn by staking there. Bitcoin doesn't have a staking model where if you acquire more Bitcoin, you can stake for more revenue. Ethereum does have that. And also why Tom Lee is so bullish about Ethereum and Ethereum treasuries. For example, SharpLink. But basically the conclusion of that Bitcoin Amsterdam event was like, there are many stages talking about treasury tokens or treasury companies. And the majority is saying, well, the majority will fail, except if you have a very healthy healthy structure with low leverage and also an earning potential there. And I think that's also what makes CRO quite special on that front. Let's see though. I don't think that like MCJ will actually go bankrupt. That's a good sign. Need to fund our personal treasury. We need some more. we need a bigger personal treasury, right? But why I'm talking about this, guys, is that we recently had the government shutdown end. The government shutdown ended also in this exact week. And I was kind of expecting, you know, a bit of a recovery for the stock market, but also for crypto. But unfortunately, it became a typical sell the news event. So when Bitcoin had the rumor of the shutdown ending, well, we started going up again, right? Bitcoin went up again. I think it was this pump here to about 107. But unfortunately, we couldn't keep up there. I also made a different video. I lost the name, but I have a different chart also for Bitcoin specifically. I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. Also interesting though. So we haven't talking about the this is it. This is the megaphone pattern. We're now getting to the bottom zone here of the megaphone pattern for Bitcoin. So the fun thing is we've been talking about 92k for a while, also because at exactly 92k we have a CME gap. You can see here the CME gap is at 92k. So 92k, like if we tomorrow dump a bit further into 92k, that could maybe like the best thing that would happen to crypto. Like Bitcoin to 92k, CRO to the bottom of the rainbow chart here at 10.5 or 10.4 cents basically. If that would happen, actually, guys, we are again at the bottom of the rainbow chart. The bottom of the rainbow chart has been holding very strong so far. So buying opportunity, that's the question, of course. I completely forget to talk about this, but I think Peter is completely right here. So don't forget, folks, the government only reopened this week. So they hasn't had the chance yet to sharing the TGA. And there's also QE to come. Apparently the Fed were meeting today to discuss the current liquidity, which is by the way, quite interesting because I also brought up this thing regarding the CME futures, or not the CME futures, the CME predictions for a rate cut. We've been expecting a rate cut of about 25 basis points for the longest time. However, now the odds for a rate cut have dipped quite significantly. Now it's only 55% chance for a rate cut. Previously 80, 70%, but now only 44%, guys, that we get a rate cut. Why is that? Currently, the Fed is steering in the dark. Like, they are waiting for economic data of the month of November. And they didn't get that one, or October, I mean, not November. They didn't get that because the Bureau of Statistics was closed during the shutdown. I have to say one counter argument, like, it's not only the Bureau of Statistics that's gathering inflation data. There are also many privately funded companies that are doing these kind of data collections. So if they want to, they can actually get a bit of data about, you know, what happened regarding inflation in the month of November. But it's hard for them to say, hey, we're going to cut if they have no data. Let's see. I still think, as Peter's saying, there is a big chance that we might see QE start in the beginning of 2026, as also predicted by the Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank, one of the biggest financial institutions in the world, is predicting QE to start in the first quarter of 2025. And in only 15 more days, we'll stop, guys, the reduction of the balance sheet with QT. Jay Smith. So now this 4-year cycle is over. It means the likes of CRO can just pump at any moment like we saw it in the summer. Did we have a summer pump? I forgot already. Did we have a good summer? Oh yeah, leading up. Yeah, of course it was. So I forgot that the pump happened in August, September. That was fun. I think we're still riding waves, Jay Smith. I still think we're riding waves. You can see, right? Like, we have been seeing waves complete again and again and again. And so far, I think from the top, CRO is down, give or take 72%. 72% down from the top. What did we do in previous waves? For example, this one here. Need to go do it correct, but I think it's also about 72%. Yeah, 72% here. What's this one? 71% as well. I don't know what to get here, but this is also 75%. The question, of course, I don't know, is it going to be a wave? Like, all these waves are give or take 70% down. Give or take 70% down. This, if we're having a bear market, if we're having a true bear market, guys, it's minus 95%. The only thing, though, that I don't know is that will we see also maybe, if we're getting into bear market, is the bear market going to be completely different as well? Are we going to see another 95% down from the high? Which would be 95% down from the high would be going back to about like 2 cents. I think that's unlikely. 2 cents would be, by the way, like the low, the low, the COVID low. I think that's unlikely. If I were the Trump media company, the Trump media CRO strategy company, I would be buying like crazy, that kind of dip. The fun thing, Fitting Crypto is saying, Black Friday lines up with some of the TA I've done. I'm thinking mid-December top. Have you heard about the 150-year-old Samuel Banner chart? I think I've seen it. Like, they are talking about like 7-year business cycles. I need to check it though, so welcome. Welcome, Eclaptic. Big dips create the best buying opportunity. That's true. We make money during a bear market, right? Having said that though, guys, I would love there to be an actual bull market. Money is made during the bear market, but profit is taken during the bull market. Peter's saying, well, the lack of data is probably also why Powell said they can't promise on a rate cut. No guarantees there. So no data, no rate cut. I think it's... I wouldn't find it strange if Jerome Powell would like handle it like that. Powell probably figured out it would be another long shutdown like Trump's previous one. He probably figured that there might not be any data availability to support a firm reason to cut. I think that's quite a likely answer there. Yeah. Peter's saying, if we go up like crazy again, like then I don't mind going down 90-95%. Sidekicks are saying, welcome by the way, Sidekicks. I think, is this the first time in the chat here? Welcome. 9 CRO for $1 is like an incredible steal. It is though. I still remember though, I could buy, like I bought a guys, like let's be honest, I bought here as well at 5 cents. This was a true bear market here. This was a true bear market. CRO near 5 cents for a long time. Anyone saying, yeah, I couldn't buy at 5 cents? Well, you can. It's been there for a long time. So that's what I've done. Ah, welcome sidekicks in that case. Rato, seeing the perfect pyramid as well. It's interesting. I wanna quickly talk about something else, guys. So what we have here is also the Fear and Greed Index. And the Fear and Greed Index is interesting because where are we now? Where is the Fear and Greed Index? It's sitting at extreme fear. Value 10. That's super, super low. That's like super, super low. This, I think it lines up almost with FTX crashing. Almost. You can see, right? During the FTX crash, was it here? Yeah, I even think that the FTX crash wasn't even that bad. Nah, yeah. So the end of the previous bull market, the end, like the low, was about 6. Now we're at about 10. This also corresponds with the tariff rate cut low of 10 on the 27th of February. You guys might still remember that one for Bitcoin specifically. Like, hey, the 29th. We got very fearful here, guys, due to the tariffs. Also quick recovery though afterwards. I don't know. So Fear and Greed Index is a bottoming indicator, like what we see. Many people say you buy when blood is in the streets. Like this, we are at extreme fear. And I think it also makes sense because we have the Death Cross. We have the Death Cross now for CRO. I'm looking quickly at my different chart I made. Is it this one? Give me one sec, guys. I think I made a different chart as well, and I can't find it, and I hate it. I made this chart about... is it this one? It's this one. There we go. We talked about this, and I think it's actually quite interesting. Welcome, Karl, mister. Unfortunately, we can't time travel. So now all we can do is look forward. Make new plans. Let's see. Hey, Sci-Fi, welcome. If the crypto market doesn't recover at least 30% this month, then sell everything before Christmas and hold your money till mid next year, because bear market is here. Like if of course, and I think, guys, it's a good warning. We've been talking about this in the beginning of the stream, but if we'll see a second week below $103,000, there is definitely a risk of a bear market here. If, of course. Flying Bee, my wife's birthday today. I bought her some Cronos. Well, sir, congratulations. I hope you had a beautiful birthday today. I hope you got some good weather, some good gas, some good cake as well. I love birthday cakes. I love me some birthday cakes. Let's quickly talk about this, though. So we made these green boxes for a reason, right? We made these green boxes for a reason. I told you guys in a previous video that it was very likely that we would have a rejection at about the red box here, and we did. Like just before the end of the red box, we had a rejection here. That was unfortunately expected as well. I didn't know if it would enter the green box, but there is a really good reason that if we get another drop here, it will start see reversals at about 92. It's not only the CME gap, it's also the green box. There's crazy lot of volume, and I think also, I need to check that one for sure, but I think there's also a Fibonacci level at 92k. But let's see. The green box, guys, it's promising. We're getting to the end of the pain now. If we see a reversal near the green box. Jay Smith, welcome. So I missed the first... We already talked, of course. I missed the first part of the whole stream. So what's your current thoughts? Do you still think a pump before the end of the year? Or are we expecting 2026 now? Ooh. You're asking the good questions again, Jay Smith. Yeah. So time is the hardest thing to predict at this point. I would say time. Like if anything is going to play out, like I expect it to play out, we have to grab this chart here. That will mean that soon we will see a reversal. Soon. And if it's going to play out like what we've seen in the previous wave here, so the third wave running into the fourth wave, it will start soon with the reversal. However, the reversal can take a lot of time. We're talking about another 25 weeks to completely fill the fourth and final wave. That means that 25 weeks would bring the bull market into April of 2026. April of 2026. That's a long wait, but also not that long, is it? And if you ask me, I think there are fundamental reasons why we can believe this is going to play out. We have the SEC just going to work now. So SEC is going to approve altcoins. They're going to approve altcoin ETFs. We're going to see a treasury company go live. And we also will see, most likely, the beginning of quantitative easing. So more money creation, more liquidity. That's, of course, a great sign. Of course, guys, that is a great sign. I can't say it any different. And the other thing also that we do have is that, yeah, also here we can see that Bitcoin dominance, it's still dropping. Would it make sense also, like from a perspective here? So let's say we are now maybe this is the beginning, like over here, right? I don't know, of course, exactly, but let's say this is going to play out in a very similar manner. The breakdown of altcoin season begins here. How long did it take before we reached the absolute bottom? Okay, that was even 42 weeks. But like we see here that the second bottom also is exactly took 25 weeks. 40 weeks. I think this was 10 weeks. Let's see though. Bitcoin dominance needs to do this though multiple times. So again, we talked about this. One swallow doesn't make a summer. One event isn't a trend. Two events is also not a trend yet. But if we see 3 similar candles, I think it's a trend. We can confirm a trend. For me, 3 is the holy number. Also the same for Bitcoin, right? Like I don't like to see where we are now, but like it's also not that scary. Like it's still within the typical minus 30% drops. But for the weekly chart, I need at some point to words today, guys. So words. So the 50 week, that's an issue. I need to see a closure again above the 50 week. It needs to see a pump above $100,000. At this exact moment, guys, like Bitcoin is even dropping even further, it seems. We're getting now very close to, it seems, 93k. Any minute now, 93k. And I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we drop down to 92, right? Like 92 would be perfect. It would fill. If we open up tomorrow, the CME futures again, we will probably hit a gap, and we could see a bounce. Same thing also happened on the other side. So I told you guys, like I expected to fill 116. I didn't know what would happen afterwards, but we filled the CME gap at 116. And then we reversed, unfortunately. Maybe same thing happens also here, right? Like we We touch, we open up the CME, we go back again. Maybe that's the best outcome. Maybe that's the best outcome. Jojo is saying, well, or Joe Boy, tomorrow will be a start of a new beginning. As always, a new week will open up. New week with new opportunities. Officially now again, we see Bitcoin is down below 94k. 94k has been slaughtered. On Binance at least. And Binance is the biggest exchange. Three is the magic number even. Okay. Holy number, magic number. I agree though. If we see 3 consecutive candles, or like, yeah, it's definitely a trend. Hey, welcome Mitchell. So I think that we are coming to the end of the beat action, because if you look at the 3 drops of Bitcoin, it has followed with 70 to 100% bounces. Do you mean like these twos here? We have a drop and a big bounce. It happened all the time. There's definitely, I would say, an argument to make for that one. Bitcoin is really interesting, guys. It's doing so many cool things, and so far, like TA hasn't really betrayed us, at least so far. We talked, guys, about the timeline. So Jay Smith was saying, I agree, Q1 or the first half of Q2 could be the top for CRO. Weeks are going so fast, so I'm just happy to wait another 5-6 months if we have to. Will be well worth if we see CRO above 150. If you're buying now, you can make like, if that's going to happen, right, you will see like a 15x. So that will definitely change many lives, I do believe. Right, so by the time people agree it's a bear, it's already too late to sell. I wouldn't necessarily agree so. So right, so let me show you an example here specifically for Bitcoin though. I think it also applies for altcoins. So if, and this is going back to 2021, when we had 2 consecutive weekly closes, I think it was this one here. The 10th of January, there was a typical bear market, like the beginning of a bear market here. We were at 43k. 43. It went down all the way to 16. So you could have doubled your money if you sold here and you bought back in. And of course, you will never time things perfectly, right? You never will time things perfectly. So maybe you bought back in here, still quite good. You would have doubled your money. For CRO specifically, like if you go back into the years, when Bitcoin had a second weekly close below the 50-week moving average, the 10th of January, like CRO was trading at, give or take, 44 cents. If you sold CRO back then at 44 cents, you could buy it back later for a 10x lower price in the end. You could buy for 5 cents or even 4 at some exchanges. So you sell it at about 50, you bought back at about 4, 5. So a 10x discount here. Well, I do agree though, like you missed the majority of course you could have sold higher, but we don't look back, we only look forward, right? We create a strategy based on the future, not on what we missed doing in the past. No alt season. Well, it might be coming, Godfather. It might be coming. Oh, dominance is dropping now. It seems we're going to have a weekly close for the first time red since September. So this is looking somewhat good here. Trading Savior, welcome. Good to see you, sir. Just hold here and touch some grass. Watch out with leverage, I would say as well. I'm engaging my own able here. No financial advice, obviously, though. I think we might even see 86k later this week. Then QE to trigger big rebound. And even then we might also get the CME gap to get filled. Plus we also get close to the mid-Bollinger Band. Nice. Let's see though. I don't think it will go that low. Like if we continue the bull market, but so far, guys, I think Peter's been more right than me. Oh well, I think we're about even now. Welcome, Kieran, by the way. Crow finally hit my button average, but I'm about like 31k Crow, with about 20k locked up at 20%. So I will have about 24 when it's up. I'm adding also to my XRP bag and Solana at the moment. They're really buying in. Good to see, sir. Buying a dip. Well, of course, I hope it reverses. Welcome, Action. How are you? No, rip to my hairline. I was live, sir. Crew back at 10 cents so far. Gotta pay my holiday start in December. This is not how I wanted the market to be at this time. Godfather has no more money to buy. It's always wise to have a stream of income, a job or something like. I know many people get like the Christmas bonus at about this time of the year, or soonish. Also interesting what gold did recently. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but gold last week had a good rally. Gold had a good rally here. So you can see it actually went from about 3,900 back up to 4,200. But this is the typical dead cat bounce, it seems like. We go up, have a parabolic rally, then it goes down, and we have one more try from the bears or from the bulls to go to a new all-time high, but unfortunately it seems to get rejected here. I don't know what the week will bring. I think also gold will see some more continuation to the downside, because we also have now a working government again. But let's see. Unfortunately, the gold commodities can't be traded now. It's the weekend, so Monday, tomorrow will be quite interesting to see what will happening with gold. So what should we do? Buy or sell? Unfortunately, I can't give any financial advice, sir. Like, I am not selling myself, but I could be wrong, of course. I've been watching these guys for years at this point. Like what I love to see here is that we do have that death cross. Like the death cross is confirmed. That's good news. Honestly, good news, I would say, for the markets. Let me bring up this chart here. Here you can see, right? You can see here the 50-day is moving below the 200-day simple moving average, which is a good sign. Cyborg is saying hold. I think we'll try to get to 40k Crow if it stays this low for a while. This again, if you want to buy, like you buy when fear is high typically, and we see that fear is now extreme even. But yeah, Peter's right, guys. We don't do any financial advice. If you make a decision, it's yours alone. I'm just sharing my story here. I'm just sharing my journey. And like what we had Mr. I think it was Mr. Action saying. Oh, no, Mr. Where is it? Lost like 80% of my portfolio. Same here. Same here. I'm no different than you guys. I also didn't sell anything because my targets are different. Like I have an exit strategy myself, and I didn't sell because these are not my targets. So I'm also down like you guys, minus 70%, give or take. But it's fine. I knew the risk, and I knew also that there is still an opportunity where we might go higher later this year. Anyone having issues with rebates? My Netflix rebate hasn't come in, and going through the support chat is crap. Just say it will get back to you. I haven't had the issue myself. Just a quick check, actually. I think you had the J Green car, right? I'm not sure anymore. Just make sure. I think the Netflix is only for X amount of months. So it might be that your amount of months have run out. I need to check that one quickly. Let me go to the crypto.com webpage so we can actually watch it together, guys. Welcome. If you got the strap in, guys, hit the like button as always. Bear market, bull market. One thing that matters, that's the like button, of course, as always. Crypto.com. Where are we? Where are we, boys? So what do we have? Oh, this is, by the way, new. This is, by the way, new. So, I don't know if you guys heard the news yet, but if you get any of the cards here, you also get free Truth Plus. Not available in the EU, but it is available in the US. So, if you want to get now, get free Truth Plus, and with that, you can earn gems, and you can use those gems to convert back into CRO. So, I would say get it. It's free Truth Plus. An additional free CRO if you're using like the streaming services. But I don't know actually how long you got the Netflix rebate already. If it's like more than 6 months, it will automatically stop, I believe. Daniel's saying buy. Let's see. If you don't want to buy, by the way, I recommend, like, you don't have to buy. Get the card. Get like one of these cards. Doesn't matter if like the subscription model or if it's staking. But with the staking, you also you can get different staking rewards. Or just get the card. You're passively getting more and more CRO. Kieran is saying I'm holding long term. What I put in will never break me, so I'm letting it ride. Everything is at discount now, though. Mitchell saying I've got my targets to reach 500,000 CRO. Nice, sir. You're about halfway there. Nice. Well done. While we see December rally, I have to get back to the how do you say that? To the actual statistics here. But what we see often with death crosses is that in the weeks that follow, we get a bit of a recovery. So you can see that after the death cross, this is a golden cross. This here is a death cross. So directly after the last death cross on the 6th of April, in the weeks that followed, we were a lot higher. So we had the death cross at 78. Let's say 2 weeks higher. 2 weeks later, we were up 20%. Let's assume we're gonna see something similar. We have a death cross now. And from this point onwards, in 2 weeks, we are now going up 20%. That will bring us back to about 110. Can happen. Can happen, guys. Oh, it's only your second month. That's crazy. I've never had issues with this myself before. Unfortunately, I think you have to check Action with the support because I can't solve this from this point onward. Ouch, guys, welcome. So Bitcoin is now at 93.7. Is this the low so far we have been? Yeah, we're now definitely, guys, creating a bit of a lower low. Again, we have been watching about 90, 92 here. 92 is really a level to watch. So Pavel is saying, are you scared about the lowering of Bitcoin completely? Yeah, and yes and no. Yes and no, guys. So what the thing is here is that we've been talking about this for some time now. Like these boxes here, the CME gap. To be quite frank, right, I didn't expect the CME gap to get so close now. The CME gap as at about 92k, but it seems we're getting into that direction now. So yeah, expectations can be different. Scared, I would say scared is a wrong word here. Somebody said, I think scared money makes no money. That's right though. Godfather was saying, well, we also got fear at extreme fear now. So level 10. It's crazy, isn't it? Extreme fear, guys. Fear and greed. It's been a rough year though. more fear and greed. We haven't seen any greed at all. Haven't seen any greed at all this year so far. Or not really any fear. Been always below 80. Whereas typically we at least have periods where we go above 80. Where we have like a true bit of a bull season. We have had one really shortly in 2024 after Trump. So when Trump won the election, we went, of course, above $100,000 for the first time for Bitcoin. Then we had some greed. I think also like a mini alt season. Keeps coming closer to my 86k prediction. 96 now. At least guys were watching the fall together. Strap in, guys. This roller coaster might be getting sort of a bit wild now. It's so weird though. So your stock market are at an all-time high and crypto didn't really move like euphoria. It's crazy. Same for gold. Like gold all-time highs. Silver all-time highs. For crypto, no sir. Peter's saying, it is a sign though of a maturing market. Less hype, but also reduced periods of fear. Let's see. So for anyone wondering, what do we expect for CRO? Well, at this point, I think it's very likely that we will complete the bottom here of the rainbow chart. I haven't sold. I'm not going to test it out myself, but I think it is quite likely that we will see here a bottom at the zone, the green zone here. Like also it went back in 2021. So let's see. Guys, on that note though, I want to say that fundamentally, I've been to Bitcoin Amsterdam and fundamentally the market is maturing like almost every day. We see better regulation. We see actual ETF approvals. We see treasury companies. We see work being done every day to keep improving also the Cronos chain, to keep improving the whole crypto community. It's an industry, I think, that will not disappear. So maybe not today, maybe not this year, but I think it will continue to increase. That's my bet. That's why I'm still convicted to this space. That's why I'm still strapped in. And I want to repeat it once more. Like, I haven't sold, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to sell, of course. I am no financial advisor. I make mistakes. I'm human. So if I do have a conviction and I think we will be fine, but that's just me. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, strap in for next video. Tomorrow we'll be back. Tuesday we'll be back. Wednesday we'll be back, of course, with a video. Thursday we have a live stream, 9 PM Amsterdam time. And as always, also back on Sunday with one more live stream. Guys, strap in, hit the like, and talk to you very, very soon. Also, yeah, QE. Rather sooner than later. More fundamental reasons. Thank you so much. Have a good one, guys.